Okay, welcome back to episode 4 of Solo Summer with Sammy K. I just now was walking through Venice and I was like, this is actually the perfect tiny corner to record because I've been wanting to record and didn't know where. This is the perfect corner. So go to the YouTube. This is like the most beautiful setup. I'm staring into the canals of Venice with my fucking feet dangling down towards the water, and like there's a canal in the frame. Like it is absolutely beautiful, and I feel so happy to be in Venice. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about this episode, but I've been feeling like kind of anxious these past couple weeks. No, not even these past couple weeks, these past couple days. And I'm going to take you through everything because now I'm back on my own. I had been with people for so long that I think I forgot how to be alone again. And so I've been learning that, relearning that. So maybe we'll talk about like how to be okay being on your own and what it's like to solo travel and like the reality of it. Because the like reality of it is that I spent a lot of time this week. And by a lot, I mean a lot for like solo traveling, because solo traveling, like, it seriously is something that I'm so passionate about. It like lights my soul on fire. So therefore I haven't cried a lot because it's like my favorite thing to do ever. And like that is all that I want. A wish for anyone is that they're able to do their favorite thing ever. And I just feel so grateful that I'm able to solo travel and keep doing this. But I cried the other day because we're just gonna jump right in. Like this is gonna be a ramble episode of just like hang out with me in Venice, and we're just gonna get caught up on everything, and I'm just gonna take you rambling through the rest of my life, my life these past couple weeks, because there's a lot that you guys don't know. And well, not really, low-key, like you guys know everything. Like I was gonna say, you just don't know a lot of like, oh, what's been going on behind the scenes, but like you kind of do. Like I don't know. Anyway, we're just gonna ramble on and we're gonna chat and you guys are gonna hang out with me. Hey, future Sam popping in here. For all of you who don't stick around to the end of the episode, I don't want you to miss the opportunity to donate to a charity. So at the end of every Solo Summer episode, I have been telling you guys about a charity local to the area that I've been traveling to, and I've been matching all of your donations for it. But I think a lot of people don't stick around to the end of the episode to even find out that that's a possibility. So stick around to the end of the episode today to find out how I will donate for you to all of these charities. Spoiler alert, all you have to do is leave a comment on the YouTube video or rate the show on Spotify for me to donate $1 for you. If you do both of those, I'll be donating $2. Stick around to hear the missions that we're donating to. I love you guys. Continue with the episode. Mwah. I feel like the TikTok right now is blown up. Like you guys are finding me and supporting me and like leaving the nicest, kindest fucking comments, like the kindest comments. The amount of screenshots that I have when I get a nice comment, and also when I get like really funny mean ones, I'll screenshot them. And the amount of screenshots that I have in my camera roll right now of just like the sweetest, kindest souls commenting on the videos is so kind, and like I just feel so grateful. God, what do I even want to say? I'm just happy that you're here, and I'm happy to be here recording this. Like I'm like, can we just hang out? Like what if we just sit here and chat? Like I wish that you could chat back to me, because I'm like, I want to talk. I want to talk with you guys. I want to tell you everything. So I guess let's get started with a week ago when I was in Paris. I left you guys hanging with my story of going to El Rio by myself in Barcelona, and that was amazing. And a girl commented, I need to respond to her comment because I read it and I started crying, and then I was like, I need to like form a nice response, and I didn't because I was just crying. She said that she was also like, she found my first episode of the podcast when she was going to a music festival by herself, and she was like, oh, it's perfect because she's solo traveling. And then my episode that she commented on was when I went to a music festival by myself. So it was like full circle. So I love you. To the girl who left that comment, I fucking like literally love you. Sweet Rippy is her username. I love you, Sweet Rippy. Genuinely, that was such a kind comment, and I really, really appreciate that. Wow, you guys have just been like making my heart so warm recently. So taking it back to a week ago when I got to Paris, I didn't even tell you guys about Amsterdam either, because from oh my god, we have 3 countries to discuss. We literally have 3 countries to discuss. We have because I talked to you about Barcelona. From Barcelona, I went to Amsterdam. Oh my god, and then from Amsterdam, I went to Paris, and then from Paris I went to Switzerland, and now I'm in Venice, Italy, and we haven't talked about any of it on the pod. Solo summer, we gotta catch you up on this solo summer. So starting off with Amsterdam. Wow, I feel like you guys don't even need to put this in 2 times speed because I'm just so excited to be chatting with you all right now. I fly into Amsterdam and it went great. I was so excited to be there, and I'm walking down the street, and the night before I'm walking down the street, I had seen Rin post a video. If you don't know Rin Rudd, she also does like travel TikTok, and she is like the GOAT. Like she is so fucking good at it. I watch her like make her video. I'm like, how do you do that? And I've watched her for like, I was gonna say years. I don't know if it's been years, but I've watched her content for quite a while, just being like, this girl fucking rocks. This girl rocks. And like, just been admiring her work. Like, I'm like, so the night before I was scrolling on TikTok and I see her video of her basically being like, oh, should I take the bus to Amsterdam tomorrow? Like, ha ha ha. And I'm like, oh yeah, that would be sick. Like, she absolutely should. I think I commented and I was like, do it. did I comment? I think I commented like a fan. I was like, do it. And so the next day I'm walking around Amsterdam. I'm literally thinking nothing of it. Like I watched that video, forgot. I was just like, oh, cool. She should do that. That sounds fun. Like cataloged it in my brain. I was like, cool. That's awesome. Next. Forgot about it. Next day I'm walking around Amsterdam, and it's so crazy how the universe will literally line things up for you, and you'll have like these weird feelings. For example, when I talked about my weird feelings about like missing the bus a couple weeks ago, do you remember that from my Spain episode, Romance in Spain? I talk about how I missed the bus, and the whole day I had this weird feeling that like the bus, like I was going to be cutting it close on the bus. Like I had this weird fucking feeling about the bus. So this was another one of those moments. So the reason why I went to Amsterdam, it's actually a funny story. So I was laying in my bed in Barcelona, and I was like, I need to get out of Barcelona. Like I was like, just like my soul does not want to be here anymore. And so I was like, where should I go? Like I had the idea of Amsterdam in my head, but I was also feeling like my brain was melting. Like I was like, I haven't learned anything in a long time. And one of the things that I wanted to do when I was in Europe was go to an entrepreneurship conference, because I fucking love that shit. Like episode 1, I ran into you guys about how much I love entrepreneurship, how much I love it, like how much it lights my soul on fire, how sexy I think it is, like all of the above. I love it, I love it, I love it. So when I was like, I need to leave Barcelona and my brain is melting, I was like, I want to find like a conference to go to. I want to like learn something really quick. And I went to the Water Forum, like a conference in Bali. So I was like, okay, let's keep the good vibes going of going to conferences like once a month, you know, when I travel. Like perfect. So I look up startup conferences in Europe. And what do I find? The second link that I click on, there is I kid you not, how Amsterdam had already been in my head. There, and literally this is 5 a.m. when I'm searching this up, because I'm literally just feeling like it was like one of those things that randomly popped into my head. It was like, Sam, look this up. And I literally had forgotten that I wanted to go to the entrepreneurship conference. I didn't know where I was going to go next. I'm literally laying in bed trying to fall asleep, and like my body just wakes me up and is like, search fucking for your entrepreneurship conference, like search it right now. And I search it up, and what do I find? In 2 days there's one in Amsterdam. So not only had I been kind of questioning like, oh, should I go to Amsterdam, in 2 days there was a startup conference, and all these other startup conferences that was listed had already happened, or they were in like September, October. That was like the one that was going to be in Europe this summer. I could not fucking believe it. I was like, holy shit, this is a universe moment. So immediately I booked my hostel for the night, I booked my flight, and I booked my, what else? I think that was all I had to book. Oh, and I buy the ticket for the conference. And it was low-key expensive, but it was like completely worth it. Like I was like, you know what? I was like, this is just gonna be worth it. Like it's gonna be so much fun. I'm gonna learn something. Like, you know what? Whatever. And I was able to get a student ticket, or like a reduced rate. And it was like an under 30 ticket, I think. I don't know, but it was still fucking expensive. I'm actually not going to say how much it was, because it was kind of stupid. But I don't regret anything, because it took me to Amsterdam. So I get to Amsterdam. On the app for this tech conference, it was called T&W Next, and it was all about like just the next things in tech. So it was like tech startups, big tech companies, like basically, well, actually there really weren't that many big tech companies, but it was like the biggest tech startups in Europe. So it's kind of sick. And on the app, you could look at all of the events that were happening at this event. And there were some called like side events, which were outside of the main conference, that were like at different bars, or like networking events or meetups or workshops that were like not a part of like the main thing. I signed up for one, and it's like a networking lunch. And then I also signed up for another one, and it's like the opening dinner party. And so during the day, I'm like, fuck, like I gotta wake up. And I actually spent the morning, like I think I spent the morning editing episode 2. Yes, I did. And then uploading episode 2. Haha, okay. And then after that, I was like, okay, I need to get, and all that I had in Amsterdam was like backpacking clothes. Like I did not have anything business casual. I'm like, I'm going to be at a tech conference, which yes, tech is casual, but like I want to wear something nice. So I was like, I'm going to go, like, I need to go get a blazer. Like I was like, I need to just go to a store and get a blazer, whether it's like from thrift shop or like from H&M, and then I'll return it, whatever. So I'm like, fuck, like I gotta hurry, because I have this lunch at 2, and it was like 1:30, or it was like 1. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go so fast. So I go so fast, and I'm feeling like, Sam, like there's something in my body that's like, you don't need to go to the lunch. Like it was feeling like literally you do not need to do it. Like it was just one of those like odd feelings that you get that's like, that's interesting, but I just like felt it in my gut. I was like, this lunch like doesn't mean anything. Like you should probably skip it. Like you can absolutely skip it and go shopping instead. Like it doesn't matter. So I'm like, okay, you know what, whatever, no big deal. Like even though we're close on time, like I'm not just gonna wear one of my old fits to lunch. Like I'm gonna go shopping and find a new one, because I have this weird feeling that I just should. I kid you not, I'm walking down the street looking for this vintage store. I look up, and who's right there in front of me? Rin. And I'm like, oh my God. And so I literally, it was like a reflex. I just go, oh my God, I watch your TikToks. And she looks at me and she goes, oh my God, I've seen your videos. And I was like, this is perfect. Like, it was so cute. And then like she introduced me to all of her friends. So I met Brittany, Zach, Connor, and Rin. Brittany, who lives in Amsterdam, and she was taking us around for the day. And then you also have Zach and Connor. Zach and Connor are from the States. Zach does social media. Connor is corporate Connor. He's in the corporate world, and we were just making so many jokes the whole week about like corporate Connor. Like, it was so fucking funny. So those were like Amsterdam characters. So I meet them, and I'm like, hey, do you guys know where to get, like, I need to get a blazer. Like, I'm on the hunt to get a blazer and like a nice outfit for this tech conference I'm going to. Like, do you guys know where to go? And they're like, oh, like H&M or Zara. And they're like, it's right this way. Actually, like, we're going right now. Like, do you want to go with us? I was like, oh, like, yeah, that's amazing. So we go get gelato first, and then we're all just like walking and talking, and it was so nice. Like, we just immediately got along so well. Like, it wasn't awkward or anything. Like, everyone that I've met or talked to that also does social media, it's very easy to get along with them. And it's very like, just go with the flow. Like, it's very, I don't know. It was just like immediately vibes were good. Vibes were up. And so we go to get our gelato. We go to get the outfit shopping. This is all on my TikTok, like, outfit shopping vlog. It's in my Amsterdam folder on TikTok, or you can go to my Amsterdam story highlight on Instagram at SKZZOLO if you want to see that content. Subtle plug. Because no, you bitches, I guess if you're watching this, you probably follow me on Instagram, but the TikTok girlies, they don't follow me on Instagram, so we're working on getting them over there. Anyways, that's besides the point. We are shopping, then we're like, oh, let's go get a glass of wine and lunch. So we go get a glass of wine and have lunch. They're like, wait, we're going on this boat party tonight. Do you want to come with us? And I'm like, yeah, like, I don't need to go to this dinner. Like, no, of course not. They're like, what were you going to do tonight? I was like, well, I was going to go to this, like, networking dinner. They're like, nah, like, no, don't need to do that. So I get on this boat with them. I'm like, meet strangers, get on their boat, blah, blah, blah. It is the best time. This is vlogged on Rin's TikTok. It's vlogged on my TikTok. You can go watch. It's like our Amsterdam boat. I'm not going to like go dead into it, but we all had like a bottle of wine and we're riding the boats through the canals of fucking Amsterdam. And the guy, when we got the boat, he was like, you can't break this boat. Like, you just literally can't. And we're like, is that a challenge? He's like, you can't break it. We're like, so it's a challenge. So we're like, not trying to break the boat. We literally were actually really trying hard not to break the boat, but it was just like funny. Like, we were making jokes about that the whole time. So then after a little boat cruise, we had gotten along so well that we're all walking home. They're like, hey, do you want to actually like sleep over like at our Airbnb? And I was like, honestly, yeah. And so that night, their Airbnb that they're staying at is like a fucking art gallery. It's like a museum, genuinely. It was crazy. It was like literally so Amsterdam, so trippy, so vibey. It was like there was this fake library set up that we spent so much time in just like chatting. I will cherish those memories forever. Like, it was so much laughter, so many giggles. Like, it was the most amazing night. And the next day I wake up on 3 hours of sleep and I go to my tech conference, and the whole day I'm just like, oh my God, like, I would rather be sleeping. Like, the tech conference was cool, but like, I literally barely even have anything to share from it for you guys. Like, it was a conference. Like, I think in my brain, and I felt like this about the water forum too, like, the water forum was awesome, like when I talked to Elon Musk, like the opening ceremony was, but like the actual thing was just like a conference. And like, low-key conferences, like, in my head, they're super fun, but like every time I go to one, I'm like, this is low-key just like work for people. Like, it's like not that amazing. And so that's kind of like how I was feeling. And I was also just on 3 hours of sleep, so like I wasn't really talking to people because I'm like dead tired. And so go home, go to sleep, next day, tech conference again. Something exciting did happen this day, though, at this tech conference. So I was on the app, and it says, like, all of the speakers there. And I saw that Sophia Amoruso of Girl Boss was a speaker at this event. And Sophia Amoruso, she has a series on Netflix called Girl Boss. She also wrote her own book called #GirlBoss. She, like, coined that phrase. She basically took Nasty Gal from, like, a $0 to $100 million company, one of the quickest growing retailers, like, ever. Total badass, really cool person. And she was one of the speakers. And I saw on the app that it allowed you to schedule or like request a meeting with people. So I was like, holy shit, like, that makes me so scared. But like, imagine having a meeting with Sophia Amoruso. Like, I don't even know what I would talk about with her, but like, if I have this ability to ask her for a meeting, I'm going to, because how many people have that ability to ask her for a meeting? Same thing with the whole Elon Musk thing. I was like, how many people are going to get the opportunity to ask Elon Musk a question? I have to seize this opportunity to do it. I was like, how many people are going to get the opportunity to ask Sophia Amoruso a question? I have to seize this opportunity, or to schedule a meeting with her. I have to seize this opportunity. And so I request her for a meeting. I'm like, hey, I'm a university student. And looking back, I read her book In the Coming Days, and she was talking about like how you should request things. And I learned a lot from the book. Like, if I were to request a meeting with her again, I would completely word what I said in a different way, because I worded it, learning with Sam, I worded it very like self-centered. I was like, I'm a university student. This is what I want to do after college. Would love to ask you a few questions on how to do it. Why would she care? literally, why would she care? She probably mentors people. Like, she's probably got that seat filled. Like, she doesn't need to sit there and mentor me for 30 minutes. What I should have said is, like, I'm in social media, would love to talk to you about, like, how I could help you. Like, something, well, I don't even know, like, what I would say to help Sophia Amoruso. Like, she doesn't really need my help, but, like, to form it in a way that serves her, that's serving her instead of serving myself. And I think I would have had more of a success chance for that. So that's, like, a little learning lesson there. But basically, I also just appreciated the fact that I asked her, you know? Like, the worst that they can say is no. I made a TikTok about this, but, like, literally the worst that they can say is no. It wasn't even bad. She didn't even say no. Like, it just, like, was, like, your request timed out. Like, she never answered it. Perfect, dude, perfect. That's, like, best case scenario, because I still got to, like, get that adrenaline feeling of, like, asking her for a meeting and, like, pushing myself out of my comfort zone. Like, that was the hardest part, you know? And if she would have said yes, obviously, like, sitting down and talking with her would have been the hardest part. Like, would have been scary and would have been nerve-wracking, but I would have done it, and it would have been great, and I would have been proud of myself. But I'm just as proud of myself for actually taking the time to ask her for a meeting, because that's just such a good skill to have, and that's something that I want to keep doing throughout my life, is, like, asking for things. Like, the worst they can say is no. You have to ask for shit. And so, did that. Next day, I'm talking to Rin and Zach on the phone. They're like, you should come to Paris. I'm like, all right, fine. Okay, I don't have plans next. I guess I'll go to Paris. Oh, the bells are ringing in Venice. It's so beautiful. And Zach texts me. He's like, hey, like, there's going to be, like, 8 people sleeping at Rin's apartment. Do you and Connor and I want to go in and get an Airbnb? I'm like, holy shit. I've been living in hostels for the past month and a half. I would absolutely love to get an Airbnb. Like, let's get a fucking crib. Like, let's get a fucking party house. Like, I'm so down for an Airbnb. That sounds amazing. So we end up renting an Airbnb, and I meet them in Paris. And when I saw the Eiffel Tower for the first time, I'm telling you guys, I took the overnight bus to Paris. And there was a whole fiasco with my hostel. I thought I had it booked for another night. I didn't. So I wake up and all my stuff is gone. Like, I come back to the hostel and all my stuff is gone because they moved me out of my room. Whole fiasco, but we dealt with it. Like, it was fine. They just had it all at the front desk, but then they didn't even have all of it because half my shit was locked in the locker, and they were acting like I couldn't get it out of the locker. They really weren't. They were actually, like, kind of helping me, but I'm being dramatic about it because it was kind of flustering, and now that I'm thinking back to it, it really did fluster me. So now that I'm, like, recalling it, I feel flustered again, which is, I need to calm down because it wasn't a big deal and I got it figured out. So ultimately, I couldn't stay at my hostel another night, so I was like, I'll just take the overnight bus to Paris. Perfect. I already had an invite to Paris. Like, I'll go to Paris. I go to Rin's apartment at, like, 8 a.m. in Paris, and they were all asleep because they'd gone out the night before. So I'm like, I'm going to go, like, sit at a cafe and just do things. I'm sitting at this cafe for, like, 2 hours. And I'm, like, just posting TikToks. Like, I had, like, 20 fucking million TikToks to post. So I post all of those, and then I walk out of the cafe, and I don't know how I didn't see it when I walked in. But when you walk out of the cafe, to the left is a perfect view of the entire Eiffel Tower. Like, it's far in the distance, but you can see the whole thing. Then I just break down into tears. Like, I made a video about seeing the Eiffel Tower for the first time, but, like, that wasn't, like, really my first time. That was my first time, like, getting a good glimpse at it and, like, being able to stare at it. But when I walked out, I just immediately burst into tears. Because how was I in Paris looking at the Eiffel Tower? I feel the same way about sitting in Venice right now. Like, how am I in Venice right now looking into the canals of Venice, looking at a fucking, like, love boat tour? Like, how do I get to these places? It's unreal. Like, I just feel like I can't believe that I'm traveling the world. I can't believe that these are the feet that I'm walking on. I can't believe that, like, this is where I'm planted in the world right now. Like, it's insane. Like, to be present in these places is mind-boggling, and, like, the excitement that I have is like a little kid. And there was a comment on the TikTok about me seeing the Eiffel Tower for the first time, and it was like, you experience everything like a little kid. Like, you, like, the joy that you feel, like, in your videos, like, when you see things for the first time. Like, I've been brought to tears so many times. For example, I got Coldplay tickets the other day. Fucking splurge there. Holy shit, hope my TikToks do good this month. But, like, I bought the tickets and the confirmation screen popped up and I started bawling. Like, because, well, I didn't start bawling. That's, like, being dramatic. But, like, tears were streaming down my face. I also saw a photo. Oh my God, I don't even need to get into this, but I saw the photo of the hottest guy last night, and I know him and I want him so bad. I want him so bad, and I've had him before, but nonetheless, not my problem. Saw a photo of him, started crying because I was just like, he's so beautiful. Like, not that I was crying, just a tear streamed down my face because I was overwhelmed by his beauty. And what a fucking nerd thing to say. Like, oh my God, I was staring at this guy's picture and a tear rolled down my face because I was overwhelmed by his beauty. Are you kidding me? What a fucking simp sentence. But I would be. If I'm falling in love with someone, I'm not in love with this kid. I saw a photo of him. Holy shit, Sam. We're gonna chill out and change the topic. Anytime I get on the topic of this specific guy, which I talk about a lot, and you guys don't know who it is, you don't know the guy that I'm talking about, like, blah, blah, blah. Every time I get so flustered because I'm just like, what could be? Like, what could be? What will be? What will be? Did you catch that? What will be? But yeah, no, it was just so fun. And so then I'm trying to think what happened next. Where was I? I was talking about, literally, where was I? Anyway, you just have to let yourself experience joy. Like when you feel excited about something, start skipping, start jumping around. Like it just makes life so much better that way. And so I've been trying to practice that recently. Like when I landed in Venice, like you can see it'll be on my TikTok probably by the time that I post this vlog or post this podcast. Actually, I might post the podcast first, but like it literally, like I was jumping with joy. I was just so excited, like overwhelmed to tears just because of how beautiful it is. And like when you let yourself live that way, life gets so much better. Like I feel like I used to be embarrassed, like, oh my God, I'm so excited about this, but like it's embarrassing if I'm like jumping around and like so excited and like showing over excitement. But like no, like also people love to be around people that are excited about things. Like it's just, excitement is a human emotion. We all want to feel excited. Every single human wants to feel excited about life. Every single human wants to feel excited about like the things that we're doing and like the ways that we're living and the experiences that we're having. And like when you're excited, it makes other people excited as well. Like it just brings joy. Like it's a contagious feeling that I like want to experience more. And so I've been really working on like being able to get excited about the small things. And like if you see something pretty, just like this view, like just get excited about it. Like I don't know, it's just it's a exercise that I've been working on that's been bringing me loads of joy in my life and that I want to keep doing. So I got to Paris, saw the Eiffel Tower, started crying, and then went back to the apartment, and Zach and I moved everything into our Airbnb, and then we spent the day walking around. And I knew that night we were going to go out for like a night in Paris. And in Paris, I like all of the clothes that I had were just like backpackers clothes. Like it's just like chill little sundresses or like chill like skirts, long skirts, or like athletic tops, like nothing that screamed Paris and nothing that screamed going out in Paris. Like literally nothing in my wardrobe. I was like, I none of it I could have worn to the club. Like I could have, I guess, technically, but I would not have felt confident, and I didn't want to. And also I was in Paris. Like I wanted to shop for a new outfit, so I was like, I'm absolutely going to. So Zach and I are going around to all these vintage shops. He was such a trooper. Like he would sit in there with me for like hours while I'm like talking to people. I'm like, thank you so much. He's like, no, it's okay. Zach, if you're watching this, thank you. I really appreciate it. It was a fun day. And so I go into this one vintage shop, and I like literally go up to the workers and I'm like, look, like here's my situation. And it wasn't that busy in there, so I was like, okay, like I know they can help. And I was like, here's my situation. I am backpacking right now. I'm in Paris. We're going out for the night. I don't have any clothes that work. I don't have anything that would look good. Like, I don't know what to wear at all. I've never been to a Paris club. Like, I do not know what to wear. He's like, oh, do you want me to style you like a Parisian girl? Yes, like literally exactly that. And so he's bringing me dresses, bringing me outfits for hours and hours. It was like literally 1 hour. But it was so much fun. I'm trying on all of these clothes. I'm like, I like this one. Like, what do you think? And like, we're joking around. Zach's on aux at the place. Like, it was so much fucking fun. And so I end up with this beautiful black dress. And I try this on. I'm just like, this is the one. And Zach's like, that's the one. And the guy's like, that's the one. And I tried on it. I love that black dress. It's on my Instagram. It's in like the Paris window pics. It's like a short black dress. And then the guy tells me, he's like, you need to get a pair of boots. You need to get a pair of tall black boots. Like, that's what the girls are wearing. I was like, okay, where do I get one of those? He recommends me this store down the street. I go to this store down the street, and they have the most beautiful pair of black boots that I've ever seen in my life. The most beautiful pair ever. And I try them on, and they're a little bit too big, but they're like great. And they fit good, and like literally they fit my calf perfectly. They feel so sexy on. Like, they're so insanely beautiful. I asked the woman, I'm like, how much are these? And you guys might throw up when I say this, and I might throw up when I say this, but they're boots that I'm going to keep forever and ever and ever, and they're forever my Paris boots. And I called my mom, and she said, those boots, whatever you paid for them, it was worth it because they're to die for. I said, thank you, Mom. And if I have my mom validation, I don't need the internet. It's like, I paid 200 euros for these boots. That's a lot, and I know it is, but it's an investment. Like, those are going to be my black boots forever. They're going to be great. And to be fair, when she told me that, I did leave the store, and I was like, I'm absolutely not buying those. I'm talking to Zach. I'm like, I'm not buying those. Well, then Zach goes into fucking Doc Martens and spends $250 on boots, and he's like, you should get those boots. Like, you should buy the boots. And I'm like, well, if you just spent $250 on boots, like, I could spend $200 on boots. Like, that's way less. Like, that's honestly only like $50. Like, it's so cheap. And I couldn't stop thinking about the boots. So then after he got his Doc Martens, we literally go eat dinner, and I'm like, Zach, I can't stop thinking about the boots. Like, can we please go back? Like, I just want to try them on one more time. I wasn't even going to buy them. I was like, I'm going to try them on one more time. Like, I just need to. And I go back in, and I just told her, I said, I have to take those. And so I did. I bought them, and I'm happy about the purchase. I feel great about it. I have no regrets with it. I'm glad that I did it. We're in Paris. We go out. It was amazing. I mean, that night, seriously, like, I could not believe the outfits of the people that I was seeing. It was also men's fashion week when I was there. And so, like, literally, the place that we went, everyone was just standing around, talking, smoking, drinking, like, having a good time, chatting it up. And I met this one girl, and I think she went to the University of Michigan, but then she was working she was working marketing for a health startup. And it was, like, her and her sister's health startup, because they're into like holistic wellness, and they started this thing. And like literally everything that she was saying, like, I'm literally falling in love with this girl in like the most platonic way possible, because she was like 25, I think. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, you are the sickest person ever. Like, I want to be you. Like, you are so cool. And we were just hitting it off. She's like, you're the younger version of me. I'm like, you're the older version of me. Like, I fucking love you. I'm like, you should come to U of I. Like, if you want to come to college, like, you can stay with me. Like, whatever, we're hitting it off. You know, like, how drunk girls hit it off. I'm like, you are actually my favorite person in the entire world. And she's actually sick. I follow her on Instagram now. Every time I see her post, I'm like, I love it. Like, I can't wait to see you again. I hope I run into her. She lives in Boston. So if I go to Boston, I'm going to hit her up and be like, yo, let's go get drinks. Because she was literally sick. And a lot of the times I feel like I meet people when I'm out drinking and I'm like, oh my God, you're the sickest person ever. And I like mean it in the moment. But then afterwards I'm like, oh, I'm never going to hang out with them again. Or like, I don't need to talk to them again. No, genuinely from that moment, I'm like, dude, she's the sickest person I've ever met. Like, I want to keep talking to her. I want to like see her again. I want to go get drinks with this girl again. And so that was the night. Next day, don't know. Oh, we go to Disneyland Paris. And we go with a big group of people. There was 7 of us at Disneyland Paris. And it was so fun. And it was like people who had met traveling all over the world. Like, I think that Rin had met all of them in Costa Rica when she lived there. And so then we all got together in Paris and we all went to Disneyland. And it was just like a day full of fun, day full of laughter. We're jumping around being a kid. And all of these people just have the most amazing attitudes on life. They're all travelers. Like, every single one of them has just been traveling nonstop, or like is working to have like a travel lifestyle. Like, it's so cool. Like, just people who fucking send it. Like, they're so cool. They're surfers. Like, literally 2 of them that we were with are professional surfers, the sickest fucking people I've ever met, Andy and Callie. Like, they were awesome. And we're having these beautiful conversations, and Andy's asking me about social media, and he's asking me like these really, really good questions about it that I really appreciated. He's like, do you feel like vlogging takes you out of the moment, or like you would be able to appreciate life more if you're vlogging? And I'm like, honestly, no. And I was giving him honest answers that like weren't really what he expected, because I'm like, no, like, I did the thing with like stopping vlogging for like 30 days. And like, I know 30 days doesn't sound like a lot, but I've been doing this since I was in 8th grade, pretty nonstop. And so 30 days to me was a lot. And like, by the end of it, I was like, this is my passion. Like, this did nothing for me except like reinforce that this is what I'm meant to do. Like, I absolutely love it. And like, I was telling him just how like it lights my soul on fire. Like, there's nothing that I'd rather be doing than making a video, than creating content, than vlogging. Like, that is what I'm meant to do. That's what my soul feels like that is meant to do. Like, this is my passion. This is like what I want to do all the time. Like, nothing makes me happier. It's seriously my favorite thing in the whole world. And so I'm telling him all of this and like explaining it to him, and he's like, oh yeah, fair enough. Like, fair enough. Hallie and I were having the most beautiful conversations as well, just about like life and things. And then we're doing fucking gymnastics on the side of the road. Like, we're doing handstand competitions and like, oh my God, and just dancing. And we had a little speaker and we're like dancing and singing, and it was so beautiful. It was absolutely so beautiful. Oh my God. And then Zach and Connor sadly left Paris. And after that, I stayed with Rin for a couple more days, and it was so much fun. We went to Paris Pride together and just like pranced around the town. I went to like the Louvre and saw it. I didn't go to the museum, but like I saw the outside of it, went to go see the Eiffel Tower. And let me tell you about the story when I went to see the Eiffel Tower for the first time. So I'm going to the Eiffel Tower. Oh, also went thrifting in Paris. Best thrift of my life. This is all on my TikTok. Like, you can see the thrift videos from Paris, and it was so good. I found so much stuff. So many like fun tops that I want to wear back at college. And I like fell in love with thrifting outside of the States. Like, I want to like, dream job is literally do exactly what I'm doing now forever, or until I am not passionate about it anymore, and then do something else. Whatever I feel passionate about in that moment, that's my dream. But I think another thing I would like to do is just thrift in every country in the world, which I guess is literally what I'm doing now, so it all goes together. Anyway, I love thrifting in other countries. Then I go to the Eiffel Tower, and I go by myself, and my phone is about to die. And so I like get on the right bus to get there, but then after like I get on that bus, I'm like, I guess I'll just have to get out when it like kind of seems like the Eiffel Tower is kind of gonna be there. And so I'm like riding it, and I'm like, I feel like the Eiffel Tower is kind of around here. So I get off the bus, and then I'm like, I can't see the Eiffel Tower, but I know it's some way. So I asked this woman, I'm like, excuse me, like, do you know what way the Eiffel Tower is? And she's like, yeah, it's like that way. And then I'm like, oh, okay. So I start walking that way. She's like, no, like, follow me. And then she like takes me across the street, and like it's literally full on like dead ass full view of the Eiffel Tower, like right there. I'm like, oh, cool, like it's right there. Like, perfect. Like, I just couldn't see it from where I was standing. So that was like a cute interaction. And she was just so cute. She was like little old Italian grandma, and she was just so kind. And maybe she wasn't Italian, I don't really know, but it was like really adorable. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So one day when I was walking around Paris by myself and I went to record episode 3 of Solo Summer, and then after that I went into this jewelry store, and you might have seen me post about it on my Instagram at SKZZOLO, subtle plug, but I tried on this necklace and I literally cried trying it on because it was so beautiful. The jewelry in this place was amazing, and the curator in there was so willing and excited to talk to me, and I was so willing and excited to ask him questions about all of the pieces. And so what we did was, I mean, there was this whole spread of the most beautiful jewelry pieces that you've ever seen in your entire life, and he's like, what ones do you like? So I'd point out the ones that I liked, and he's like, oh, like, good choice. Or he's like, oh, this one, like, not a lot of story behind it, like, it's not a designer, it's like not, you know, it's just like a, like, maybe you would buy it at like Macy's vintage, you know what I mean? Like, is like from there. It wasn't like a designed piece. But so we're in there and like I'm just showing him all the pieces that I like, and he's like, then he's pointing out more. He's like, I think you would like this, I think you would like this. He's like, let me show you what I got new. And he's telling me about all of the designers. So he's telling me about his favorite designers, and they're all French designers, and he's telling me about like the ones, and he's telling me also how to curate a vintage jewelry collection that like holds value. So he's like, this is what you need to look for. You need to look for the signatures, you need to look for like actual designer pieces, unique things. The more unique it is, and if it has a signature, that's how you know it's going to hold value or go up in value. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like, this is amazing, because like holding your assets in jewelry, like that might be dumb if you get robbed. Like, I love jewelry and I love art. Like, jewelry to me is a way to express art. Like, it is so artistic, it is so feminine, it is so beautiful, and it's been throughout cultures. Like, every single culture all throughout time has expressed themselves through jewelry, and like expressed their art and their values through jewelry and through the accessories that people wear. And like, it has so much meaning to me. I love jewelry for those reasons. Like, I can go into a jewelry store and like just be in there for hours. It's like a museum to me. And so when I meet other people who are like into jewelry like that, like this guy was into jewelry like that, like to him, like this is art, this is like his passion, this is what he cares about. And so being able to talk with him, I was like literally in heaven. And I said at the end, I'm like, I just like, thank you so much for talking to me about this. Like, I'm so excited about jewelry and like want to learn. He's like, oh my gosh, like I just love to do it. And so I was like, come in anytime. It was amazing. And I ended up getting this ring. It's Nina Ricci, and it's a vintage Nina Ricci ring, and it just says like Nina Ricci on it, but it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You can see it on my Instagram and zoom in on any of my photos, or if you are in YouTube, you can zoom in and see it. I'm holding it up right now, but just the most beautiful ring. And he's like, this one will definitely hold value. And it wasn't too much. I think it was like 80 euros. So like, if that holds value, God, I'm just telling you guys about my fucking spending habit in this video. You're probably like, everyone's asking me for a budget for this trip. Bro, let me tell you, budget is blown out of the water. Like, that's why I've put off making the video, because it's like ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous. I can't sit down and be like, oh, I budgeted this and this is how much I've spent. Almost, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. So I'm putting that off until the end of my trip, and then maybe I'll go through it, but then I'll probably be too busy making other content. I'll forget to do it, because I don't want to know. You guys do want to know. I don't want you to know. But yeah, no, I've like spent a lot of money. Bottom line, it's like stupid. So moving on, I go to the Eiffel Tower, and when I'm going, like my phone is about to die. I'm walking up to it and I'm like, I have no phone. Like, I'm going to the Eiffel Tower, but nobody's gonna know that I went to the Eiffel Tower. Like, it's gonna be just, no one's gonna know. Like, it's just me for my own enjoyment, me for my own brain, me for my own memories to say that I've been to the Eiffel Tower. Like, I don't have photographic evidence of all. Like, who goes to the Eiffel Tower without taking a photo? Me, I was offline. And so I go to the Eiffel Tower, and I do have my disposable camera with me though, which I was like, this is kind of sick. Like, all my photos of the Eiffel Tower are gonna be on this disposable. Like, that's awesome. I can't wait to get it developed. So I did ask a couple people to take disposable camera photos of me at the Eiffel Tower, which was amazing. But like, I don't think that any of them were like amazing. But I did take photos of my rings and my hands like in front of the Eiffel Tower, and I'm excited to see those. That is what I'm most excited to see, genuinely, because I think that my new rings are gonna be beautiful. And I didn't say this. On the walk there, I passed this jewelry store, and I am in the best fucking mood. I'm literally like tearing up on the street. God, how many times do I cry this episode? A lot, because I'm just so excited about the things that I'm seeing. Like, being in Paris, being in Venice, like, how could I not be crying tears of joy all of the time? Like, I cry all the time tears of joy, because I'm solo traveling and I'm making social media videos about it. Like, this is the dream that I've always wanted to do, and so it brings me to tears when I think about it. I cried on the fucking train today when I was going through the countryside of Italy to get to Venice, because I'm like, I am really solo traveling. I'm really doing the damn thing. And like, I just can't believe it. Like, it just brings me to tears when I think about the way that I'm living my life. Like, it brings me to tears, because I'm so proud of myself for pursuing social media and like working so hard to get to where I am now, to where it's being able to fund me to like travel around. Hi. And I just feel so grateful to myself. And so it's like, it's just tears of joy happen a lot. Where was I? I see this piece of jewelry in the window of this store when I'm walking to the Eiffel Tower, and I immediately go in. It's the most beautiful sapphire piece that I've ever seen. It's not sapphire, it's like plastic rubies, like it's like fake. But I go in and I'm like, can I see this? Like, I ask her for that piece, because when I buy jewelry, like, usually, almost always, the piece that I first see in the window is the piece that I will end up getting, because that is what drew my attention. That's what I love. Like, what first draws your attention. It's kind of like how people, like, teachers will always tell you, like, if you're taking a test and you're trying to guess, the first one that you think is right is probably the one that's right. That's how I feel about, like, when I pick out new jewelry pieces. I'm like, I feel like that's probably the one for me, because I noticed it first and I obviously liked it the most, and it stood out to me more than any of these other pieces in the window. So I see this piece in the window, immediately I'm just like, can I look at that one? She brings it out for me, and it's beautiful. And there's an older woman in there, and she compliments she doesn't speak any English, but she compliments I had like an arm cuff on, and she compliments it to the store owner, and the store owner translate the compliment to me. And I just thought that was so nice. So I'm already like in the best mood, because I'm seeing the Eiffel Tower, and I can't believe I'm walking down the streets of Paris. And then this older woman compliments my jewelry while I'm in this jewelry store looking at the most beautiful piece of jewelry. And I'm like, life cannot get better. And then it does. And then it fucking does. So she sees my ring, which I had just gotten from the other vintage, like, jewelry curator. This wasn't a vintage store. This was just like a new jewelry store. She's like, oh, like, do you like Nina Ricci? And I was like, yes, I'm a new fan. Like, I just learned of her yesterday. And she's like, oh, yeah, like, very famous French designer. And I was like, yeah, like, I love her work. Like, I've seen a little bit yesterday. It's the first time that I heard about her. She's like, wow. And while this is all going on, I'm checking out for this ring. Like, she put it on my finger. I said, I want this. Like, I didn't even need to look at anything else. Actually, I looked at the same version of it, but in silver, and it was like a blue stone instead of a pink stone. And I was like, no. So I got the pink one. Like, this was like a whole, like, 3-minute interaction, all of this. And maybe it was like 4 or 5, but it was like very quick. Like, I was like, I see what I want. I asked to try it on. I wanted it. And so she's like, here, like, special for you. I don't sell these, but they're Nina Ricci vintage. And because you're a fan, like, I don't sell these in my store, so I'm going to give them to you. She gave me a pair of Nina Ricci vintage cufflinks. How nice was that? She just had curated them and, like, didn't know what to do with them because she doesn't sell cufflinks, but I was just like, yeah, I'll take them. Like, that's amazing. And, like, it literally was so kind. It was so kind. I was just like, wow, like, the universe is really working in my favor today. Like, this is just so kind for this woman to have been like, you're a Nina Ricci fan? Look at what I have for you. I'm going to give you this extra special surprise treat. Like, it just was so exciting. So I was on top of the world walking to the Eiffel Tower. I see it. It's beautiful. I'm walking around it. I see the fucking, oh my God, the Italian police. Or no, I wasn't even in Italy. I was in France. The French police at the Eiffel Tower were gorgeous. So I was staring at them, and one of them, like, waved at me. No, he didn't wave at me. He just smiled. I'm, like, being dramatic. I'm like, he waved at me. Oh my God, we're going to have to talk about Gelato Boy, too. Completely skipped over this. All right. To continue. I'm always saying that. So then I'm walking on the front side of the Eiffel Tower, and I see this girl, and she's taking photos of her little brother, and I'm just like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, she had a big camera, and I'm like, oh, I used to do that, like, bring my big camera on, like, family vacation. So I give her a big smile. And then I'm sitting there, and someone comes up to me later and says, hey, do you make TikToks? And I was like, yeah, I do. Like, no way. Like, there's no way. We're literally in front of the Eiffel Tower, and I was getting recognized. Like, I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, yes, I do. And this girl comes up, and she's like, oh my gosh. And her mom's like, oh, she didn't know if, like, that was you or not. And I'm like, oh my God, like, it's so good to meet you. And I got to talk with her, and we took a photo in front of the Eiffel Tower. It was just the sweetest interaction. Like, I felt like right place, right time. I was so happy to meet her. She was so kind. She was like, I've seen your videos, and, like, I didn't know if it was you. Like, I was like, oh my God. It was just so cute. I can't believe, like, when I've been traveling around that people will recognize me now when I'm abroad. Because it would happen at college, because I would make videos about U of I. So then people at U of I would recognize me. And if I went to, like, other colleges, I wouldn't really get recognized. Sometimes I would in, like, Chicago, but, like, that's it. And now, the way that I'm getting recognized in Paris, France, I got recognized in Crema, Italy. Like, it's insane. I've got recognized in Madrid. Like, that worldwide, we're worldwide. Like, it's beyond my wildest dreams. It is beyond my wildest dreams, genuinely beyond my wildest dreams. And so I was just so happy. So then we got our cute little photo, said bye. It was so sweet. And then I had this older man, like, take a photo of me on my disposable camera, and he was like, I haven't seen one of these in years. Like, he got so excited. He, like, brought his wife over. He's like, look at this. And the wife's like, oh yeah. And he's like, no, but have you seen one of these in years? Like, this is so crazy. And the wife's like, oh yeah. And he was just amused by it. And then I have no phone, and I need to get the bus back. Oh, this is perfect. This leads up to my Gelato Boy story. God, there's just so many stories to tell. Okay, so I have no phone, and I need to get back to Rin's apartment, and I need to take a bus to get there. It's like a 40-minute walk. So I need to take a bus. I don't know what bus to get on. So I obviously have to ask people. I have to do it the old-fashioned way, and I, like, go up to these girls. I'm like, hey, do you think I could use your phone and, like, look at my bus route. Like, my phone's dead. Could I just see what bus I need to take home? They're like, yeah, of course. I strike up conversation with one of them. She works at TikTok headquarters, and we have an amazing conversation, and she's starting doing like TikTok on her own, and we talk all about it, and it was so fun, and like, it was just an amazing conversation. And I get my bus, and I get on it, and I take that home, and then I'm like, okay, well, I still have a dead phone, and I don't know the code to get into Ren's apartment. So I am like, I need to charge my phone. So I'm like, where should I go? Well, 2 days before, I had gone to this gelato place with Ren, and the guy checking us out, I was like, oh my God, he's so cute. Like, Ren, wasn't that guy so cute? She's like, yeah, he was cute. And I was like, no, but he was like super cute. She's like, yeah. I was like, okay, but he's really cute. She's like, yeah. I was like, all right. Then that night, I'm walking around by myself. I see him come out of the store from his shift, and I just like wave at him. He waves at me. I'm like, oh my God, that was Gelato Boy. Like, oh my God. Well, I come home. I'm like, Ren, I just saw Gelato Boy. Like, can you believe it? She's like, oh my God. Like, haha. Did you say anything? I was like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. He was like getting on his phone. So the next day I come out, and you guys might have already heard this story on TikTok. I told like the full thing on TikTok, but if you haven't, it's cute. If you don't follow my TikTok, it's at SKZZOLNO. So then I go into this store, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to charge my phone at this gelato place. And so I asked them to plug it in. They weren't busy. Well, they were busy at first when I walked in, but then they died down. And so the guy's working at the register. He's like on his phone, Gelato Boy. And then I ask him, my phone's like charging right in front of him. And I'm like, hey, do you think you could see if my phone turns on yet? And he was like, oh yeah. So then he sees if it does, and I strike up conversation with him. I'm like, I don't even remember like the conversation, but basically find out he's the same age as me. He's in uni. He's from Sweden and then living in France, and then like blah, 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 blah. I end the conversation with being like, hey, when do you get off? Like, would you want to maybe do something after work? He's like, yeah, I would. And he smiled so big. And I was like, oh my God, could I get your phone number? And I was like, oh, I'm really asking someone out IRL right now. Like, I was asking someone out IRL. Like, we need to be asking more people out in real life. Like, it was amazing. It was exhilarating. So I get his number. I'm like, text me when you get off work. Like, I'm going out with some friends. Like, you could meet up with us. We're going to go to the club if you like to go clubbing. He was like, yeah, sure. So, oh my God. And so then I come home, and I'm like screaming at Ren. I'm like, Ren, I have a date with Gelato Boy tonight. And she's like, no fucking way. Like, no way. How did that happen? I'm like, I asked him out. And she's like, oh my God. And so then that night, Ren and I get ready to go out, and we're going out with like her group of Paris friends, which is like grown Paris people. Like, they've got full-time jobs in Paris. They're grown adults living in Paris. I am 19. The other youngest person at this table, I think, was like 23. Like, I was very much the one out of place. So then I'm telling them, I'm like, oh fuck, like I didn't I didn't think this through. And so I'm like, yeah, like my gelato employee is gonna actually be meeting us at the club. They're like, what? Like, who? I'm like, no, like the guy scooping my gelato, like he's my age, like he's gonna meet us at the club. They're like, okay, like all right. And I was like, okay, yeah, no, for sure. Like, you guys aren't like asking out your gelato employees like at the ripe age of 25. Like, that's not like a 19-year-old thing to do. Like, what? And so I was just like, okay, this definitely could be awkward. And it wasn't. It really wasn't awkward at all. But we're walking to the gelato place, and we're walking to the club, the next club from, like, because we went and got drinks, and then we, like, went to the next club. And I told him to meet us at the next club, or that, like, we were heading there. And so I see him literally on the street, like, we, like, pass him, and I was like, oh my God, hey, like, what's up? And so then we start chatting, we go into the club, we're dancing together. It was really fun. Like, it was sweet. Like, he got along with all of us. We're dancing, taking shots, like, and then the next place that we go to, we all get in an Uber, we go to the next place, and half the group had already dipped out, but I'm like, I'm having a night in Paris. Like, this is one of my last nights in Paris. Like, I'm staying out till the crack acid on. And so then at this next place, we're about to go in, and he had already told me, I got so much fucking flack for this on TikTok, but it's funny because some people were commenting, and they were like, you never know the full story, like, stop giving this girl shit. And I was like, dude, true, like, you ride for me. But, like, basically he had to leave in the morning early anyway for, like, his bus, or he was, like, going somewhere, and so, like, it wasn't gonna be a full night thing. Also, I wasn't going to go home with this kid. Like, I didn't want to go sleep with him. Like, I wanted to have a cute little date, and we got drinks. Like, I wasn't going to go, like, be like, oh, you want me to come home with you? Basically, he was wearing shorts. They didn't let him into the next club, so, like, he had to go home. And what am I supposed to do, go home with him? No, like, my friends are going into this club. He can't get into it. I'm not going to go back with him. I'm not going to, like, stay. Like, no. I'm hanging out with my friends that I came to be in Paris with. I've known this guy for a couple hours. Like, no. And he was sick. Like, that's not anything against the guy, but, like, why am I getting defensive? I'm like, you guys, I wasn't being a raging bitch. I don't know. Also, like, casual. Like, we met out for drinks. We don't need to, like, That's the thing that I've been saying is like keep shit casual. Like we went out, like he met us for drinks and it was so much fun and we danced together and we kissed and we had our little French kiss outside this fucking bar whenever he got like denied. That's so funny. What a funny sentence. And it's just casual. Like I don't need to go home and sleep with him. I don't need to like go spend the rest of my fucking life with this kid. Like we met, had a fun couple hours, and like I'll literally probably never see him again ever in my entire life. And it was fun. Like that's enough. I feel like so many people now with like travel relationships or travel things are like, I need to fall in love. Like I need this to be a big thing. And like even me, I find myself thinking of that sometimes where I'm like why haven't I just met anyone that I've immediately fallen in love with and like wanted to spend days and days with? Like it doesn't have to be like that. Just go get drinks and then like part ways. Like I don't know. It's like so healthy to do that. And then I met a new person. Like it was such a good story. It was so much fun to like be all out in Paris together. It was great. Anyway, that night we stayed at the club. Good thing I didn't go home with him because we stayed at the club until 4:30 a.m. and it was so much fun. And then the next day I pack up my stuff and I leave Paris and I leave Rennes, and it was so sad. Like genuinely, I was laying in bed. I literally couldn't sleep. I was feeling so anxious because I'm like, I have been with friends for the entire past week and I just literally didn't know how to handle myself on my own anymore. I was like, I haven't been solo traveling in like a week and a half because in Amsterdam, I guess I was by myself for like 2 days there, but like I was with them the whole day. And then I immediately had been in Paris with people, surrounded by people in Paris the entire time for the past week. And I was there for a long time. Like that was the longest that I've ever stayed in a location the time I've been traveling. And I was with people the entire time. And it was so fun. Like I was giggling the whole time. I was laughing the whole time. Like these people felt like home to me. Like they just felt so kind and welcoming. And we were sharing stories and sharing experiences. And they had such amazing mindsets and ways that they saw the world that like I didn't want to be leaving them. Like they were all inspiring me and we were all inspiring each other. Like it felt like every day we were getting better with each other. And like that is something so special with a friendship. Like you should be encouraging each other, you should be getting better, you should be learning from each other. And every single conversation that I had with these people, I felt like I was learning. And I was just so grateful to be around such amazing people. Like these people seriously are the coolest fucking people. Like I just loved hanging out with them and I didn't want to leave because I felt like I just made like the best of friends. And then we just like we won't see each other for months. And like they're and like I could see them. There's opportunities arising, but I would have to switch around some school for that. I talked to my mom about it and she was full on board, but my dad I don't think will be. And I have an academic advising meeting tomorrow, so we'll see what my academic advisor says if I move around some school a little bit. We're all gonna see. It's all up in the air. But like a month in Bali sounds much better than school. Opportunities have arose, and who am I to not seize an opportunity? We'll see like what opportunity works best for me and my future. But I want my future to be social media and I want to continue doing this, so it's just like oh my god, it's like it's different. And so anyways, I leave Paris and I'm so sad to leave Paris. There's like a tear streaming down my face and I feel anxious to be on my own again. And I go to Switzerland and I am like crying. And I'm not having a good time traveling there. I'm like anxious on the bus. I'm anxious to go. I'm like, I don't even know where to go next. Like, I feel like I should be in Italy, but I'm not in Italy. And like, I feel like I need a reset from just like going out and drinking this whole time and like being around people. Like I need to be by myself, but I also want to just keep traveling. And I only have so much time left and I don't want to waste it. It was just like all of this is piling up. But if there's one thing that I've learned solo traveling is that all of your problems are in your head. It's the way that you think about things. It's your thoughts that create your problems and not like things in the world. Like anything could be happening to you and your thoughts will either make it a problem or not. And I learned about this in a book that I read in Bali that like completely transformed my entire solo travel experience. It was called The Untethered Soul. And it seriously made me go from being an anxious mess solo traveling to enjoying it and being in a bliss and pleasure state the entire time. Pleasure state sounds so sexual, but like to enjoying it, basically. He calls it a pleasure state in the book. That's why I said that. But I'm on the bus and I'm anxious. And I'm going to Switzerland and I'm anxious and I'm anxious and I'm anxious and I'm anxious. And I call my parents at this bus stop because I have to get off the bus and I have to wait for my transfer from 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. And I'm like, I'm in the middle of some random city in Germany. I have no idea if it's safe. I have no idea what this bus stop is like because a lot of the times, just like a thing to know if you're solo traveling, train stations and like bus stations are usually kind of like the worst parts. Like train stations especially are just like known to be like, you got to watch your surroundings. You got to watch for pickpocketers. Like people try to steal your luggage. Like you just got to watch out for things. And like definitely be aware of your surroundings. So I'm like, oh my god, like I'm so tired, I'm already anxious, I'm gonna be in the middle of a town that I don't know, in the middle of a country that I've never been to before, and I'm just gonna have to sit there by myself in the dark. Like I'm so scared. And so I call my parents because it was still like 10 p.m. for them or something at home, so they were awake and I'm calling them And ultimately, at the end, they're like, we're so excited. Oh my God, I'm going to start crying talking about this. But they're like, we're so excited for you to come home. Like, we're so excited to see you. And I immediately just start crying. And I felt so bad because I couldn't respond and be like, oh, I'm so excited to come home and see you, because it wasn't true. It wasn't true. And like that realization made me start sobbing, because I was just like, holy fuck, like I love my parents so much, and I love the life that they've created for us in my hometown, and like I love the way that I was raised, and I love everything about my hometown, but it doesn't feel right for me anymore, and I'm not excited to go back there. I'm not excited to go back to school. Now I am excited to go back to school because this is a couple days later and I like worked out these sobbingnesses, but in the moment I just felt horrible, because I'm like, I want to be able to tell my parents that I'm so excited to come back and see them, because I love them dearly. Like there's no one else that I'd rather be with in this world than my parents. Like I love my family to death, and I do miss them dearly, I really do. But in that moment I just like knew that, like I just felt so bad, because I knew how bad they're missing me, and like it just doesn't feel like the right place for me to be is back home after seeing the world like this. And everyone talks about how when you go to study abroad, like the hardest part is coming home, because you are changed, you're different, and no one who hasn't been having these experiences with you would understand who you are now. And like especially being by myself, like no one knows me at all right now like I know myself. That's like, I am the only person that knows who I am right now, this part of my life, because I'm completely different than how I was when I left for Australia. I'm completely different. And yes, I'm still Sam. Yes, I'm still me. Yes, I still have my personality. But like the way that I operate, the things that I see for myself, the ways that I think, my mindset, how I want to live my life, how I want myself, the people that I want to surround myself with, like the ways that I want to build my life is all different now since going abroad. And so it's just very like, I don't know how to navigate that in my mind. And so I just kept reminding myself, like, basically I had that meltdown with my parents, where I just called them and I just felt so sad. And so I hung up the phone with them after like talking it through, and they're like, why are you crying? And I just told them, like, I was honest with them. I'm like, I love you guys. Like, I do want to come home and see you. I do miss you guys, but like, I just don't, I don't know. I'm really worried to come home. And they're like, you know, you still have time left. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, also, my dad's on the phone. He's like, Europe isn't going anywhere. Like, you can still go back. Like, you have a full life. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But like, the thing is with me is when like my dad is like, you have a full life, I'm like, well, what if I don't? Like, literally, what if I don't? Like, you never fucking know. Like, what if I only have the years that I'm in college left? Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, if I were to spend those in school instead of like traveling, like it just all fucks with my brain, because I'm so heavily on the like, you never know how much time you have left timeline. Like that's very much my mentality and like how I think a lot of the times. And so then like people are like, oh, you have your whole life to travel, you have your whole life to do stuff. It's like, well, nobody knows how long that's going to be. Like, no one knows what that is. Like, no, literally none of us know. And so then it's like, that's just a whole different mindset to be in. And so like, I don't want to explain that to them, because also I'm not going to tell my parents like, well, what if I die? Are you kidding me? No parent wants to hear that. But genuinely, like, that's my mindset of like, well, what if I don't? Like, what if I don't? Like, I want to be traveling and doing the things that make me happy when I have the time to be on this earth, because what if it's not forever? What if it's not? Like, we never know. It's not forever. Like, that is the one certain thing, is that we will die. And so you just never know fucking when. And so I didn't want to articulate them, but then that to my parents on the phone, but then it's literally making me cry even harder thinking about that and like not wanting to articulate that to them. And so then I'm just like a mess, and I stopped talking to them on the phone. And then my bus comes and I get on the bus and I travel to Switzerland, and Switzerland was so nice. I had home cooked meals for the first time. Basically my mom's best friend, I feel like we're glossing over this too much, but like basically I'm just worried about going home. But after I had this meltdown, I started talking to myself, and I'm like, okay, everything is going to work out the way that it needs to work out. And also my parents were saying like, you need to come home and like situate yourself. And I'm like, I don't want to situate. Like, I don't need to situate. Like, I'm situated over here. Like, I'm situated doing the travel thing. And so especially because I've been doing it for so long now, it just feels normal to me. Like, this, like, solo traveling now is not out of my comfort zone. Like, what's out of my comfort zone is what school is going to be like again. Like, that's out of my comfort zone, bro, going back to University of Illinois, because I literally haven't been there in so long that now this is my normal. And it's not that it's like going to be bad, it's just that it's going to be different now, and it's going to be outside of my comfort zone. So I'm going to have to work to, like, I don't know. So then I was like, Sam, if there's anything that you learned, it's all about your thoughts. Your thoughts are your entire experience. So I was like, why don't I just change my thoughts about going back to school? This will be great. You know, no problem. So then I've been like trying to get excited about it. So I called all my friends and I'm like, oh, we're going to have a great fall semester. And like, they did make me excited about it. And I am feeling excited about it now. But I do have a meeting tomorrow to see if I could do online classes, and we will see, because I don't need that many more credits to graduate. If I wanted to graduate in May, I absolutely could. But if I wanted to stretch it out, I absolutely could as well, because I don't want to graduate early. Like, I love being in college, but it's like I don't need to be at school to be in college. Like, there's a lot of ways to be in college and still get a degree. Anyways, that we can talk about later and see like if anything actually happens with that, because I am excited to go back for the fall, and I'm excited to make college content again and like to do the college thing, because also American uni experience, and here's where this has been changing my mind, is that the American uni experience is so unique. It is an experience that is not had anywhere else in the world. European unis do not have the American college experience. My Sydney uni in Australia did not have the American college experience. Like, there's nothing like it. And so I actually am excited. It almost feels like another study abroad in itself. Like, that's the way that I'm framing it in my brain. I'm like, I'm going back, seeing what it's like. Like, this is study abroad in itself, to get like the American uni experience. And basically what that means is I'm going to go back and I'm going to party my fucking heart out. I'm going to go to all the sporting games and do all the things and like hang out with my friends and do the college thing and drink beer in the driveway and play spike ball and go sit on the quad and like go cheer on our basketball team and our football team and all of this. And so I'm very excited to do that. And that's how I'm feeling about the fall. Anyways, I just called my parents and I got super emotional. And then kind of the whole time in Switzerland, I was like thinking about that, kind of sad. But then I was getting to feel better because I had home cooked meals. I had a bed to myself. Basically, my mom's best friend from high school. And like they grew up together. They're still amazing friends now. She's come to visit us in America like pretty much every year. And I've grown up like talking with her and her visiting us in America. And she always said like, anytime you're in Europe, like come to Switzerland, like you can always stay with us. You always have a place at ours. So I was like, this would be really perfect to like, after I'd been staying with people for so long, I was like, to have this reset in the Switzerland mountains and like spend time with her and her family. She has a son and a husband, and like we were all hanging out and playing games, and I had home cooked meals, and like I literally wanted to cry. And like it was amazing. And we just walked around Switzerland. We went thrifting so much in Switzerland, and it was just beautiful being in the mountains. And like in the morning I would just like go lay in her yard and like do gymnastics in the yard and like barefoot on the grass and like jump around and dance to music. And like I cooked myself meals in the kitchen and I made coffee in their espresso pod. Like it was just so beautiful, and I had an amazing time there, and like it was exactly the reset that I needed. And like I don't have any crazy stories from it because it was just like such a nice needed reset. One day we like went to the lake and we were swimming in it. Like it was just absolutely beautiful, and it was so nice to be with the family again. Like it was just beautiful. Like it was much needed. So then went from there to Italy. Now I'm in Italy. Nothing. Oh, yesterday I went to the Call Me By Your Name town. Okay, I think actually let's end the episode here. This has been like at least an hour of recording. I feel like this is a great length for the episode, and then we'll do another one next week, and it'll be all about Italy, because I just went yesterday to the Call Me By Your Name town and went to Milan, and I met people there who knew me from TikTok, and we had the most wonderful day together, just walking around the Call Me By Your Name town. Is it better to speak or to die? It was amazing. Ate a peach, saw Timothy Chalamet's bike, saw the door. It was just a beautiful day in Crema, Italy. And like I feel like there's a lot to say about that. And then I walked around Milan, and it was beautiful. All of this will be on TikTok as well, so follow me there, so it'll plug. But yeah, a lot has happened, and I'm feeling a lot of emotions right now about just the way that I want to continue living my life, because I have never felt more at peace and more passionate about life than I am right now. But basically right now, I'm just like in kind of a period of like not knowing what's going to come next. And I know I have a semester in the fall. I do know I have an option to do online school if my advisor says that's okay tomorrow, but I'm not sure that I want to, because it is the American university experience. And yes, I love to travel, but yes, I will always be able to travel. I will. And I know that I will. And I just have loved the people that I've met so much. And like, they seriously feel like my people, like they get it. They get it. And I feel like I haven't met a lot of people that I just like immediately are like, wow, like I click with you. Like I can count the experiences of people that I've met where I'm like, you get it. And they've all been while traveling, and they all stick so fondly in my brain. And so Ren and Zach and all of the people that I've met in Paris, like they especially stick out in my brain of like, I want to stick by these people. Like I want to keep being friends with these people. Like they made my life so much better, and they were making me smarter and challenging me, making me laugh. And we had an amazing time together, and we were making memories, and like just everything was flowing, and it just felt like calm and nice and homey. And anyways, I would love to spend more time with them. So we'll see if that plays out in the fall, and if not, when it will be. It's like, also I'm just trying to remind myself, like, I don't know. I don't know. I have a lot of unfinished thoughts right now, but this is what's been happening to me this past week and a little bit longer than a week, actually. I'm excited to pop into you next week. I'm going to put in Future Sam talking about the charity that we're donating to this week because honestly, I haven't done any research right now and I don't have one to talk about, but I am going to end this episode because I need brain food. And by saying I need brain food is I want to go get some pizza and pasta, specifically pasta in Venice and an Aperol Spritz. And I will find a charity after that. So Future Sam will pop back in and tell you this. Thank you so much for listening. I absolutely love you guys. Thank you for tuning in and following along on my journey. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave a comment, review, all of this. I'll do another outro whenever Future Sam pops in. Future Sam will pop in and do another outro. I'm so excited. And I'm just so happy to be here traveling. And I hope that you can see how passionate I am through the screen and through these chats and all the stories that I'm telling you. All right. I love you so much. Bye. Hello and welcome back to the charity part of the episode where I tell you about a local charity where I'm traveling to and we donate together to them. Last week, the charity that I told you guys about was Free Supermarket based in Amsterdam. If you want to hear all about their mission, you can go listen to episode 3 of Solo Summer. I'm happy to announce we're going to be donating $124 to them. If this is the first episode that you've listened to, how it works is I'll be donating $100 to each of these charities that I tell you about at the end of each episode. And then for every review left on Spotify or comment left on YouTube, I'll be donating $1 for each of those. So if you want to make a difference, if you want to help support, if you want to donate, I'll be matching all of those up to $100. So if you've commented on every YouTube video and left a review, you'd have donated $5 by now, which is really cool. I'm going to talk to you about the mission of the charity from this week. This one is a little bit different because it's not a local charity to where I've been traveling to, but it's something very close to my heart and something that I've been thinking about a lot when I've been traveling, and so I very much want to support. As I've been traveling, especially solo, I've been thinking a lot about how grateful I am to be able-bodied and to be able to get around and do things on my own. Something that has been on my mind and close to my heart while I've been traveling is just noticing and thinking about how inaccessible a lot of these travel destinations are and a lot of these tourist destinations are. And the fact that I'm able-bodied, I'm able to travel by myself. A lot of people who are disabled do not have that resource or that ability, and that's something that makes me very sad. And so I was looking up some charities that do work to make travel more accessible, and I found an amazing one that I want to support even though it is based in the UK. So I haven't been to the UK yet, but they're still doing amazing things, and I want this mission to spread as far as possible because it's a great charity. So I still want to talk about it. I want to share their mission with you, and hopefully we can just make a little bit of a difference by adding this donation and getting the word out on this podcast. This charity is called Transport for All, and their mission statement says we all have the right to travel with freedom and confidence, and I 100% believe that. Travel is so hard and so inaccessible, and I want to do everything in my power to make it more accessible, and Transport for All feels the same way. And their mission statement says Transport for All is the disabled-led group breaking down barriers and transforming the transport system so that disabled people can make the journeys we want with freedom, dignity, ease, and confidence. We work with our members to campaign for change, influencing government, industry, and the public, which is fucking everything. Disabled-led group especially is so important for charities, for them to be led by the people that they're helping. When we were in Barcelona, that charity was like a LGBTQ plus refugee charity, and it was led by LGBTQ refugees, and that's something like I think the first couple charities weren't, but that's something that I want to keep focusing on as we keep going and donating. So very important. I want to donate as much money as we can to this charity. So leave a comment on the YouTube video if you're watching this, and leave a review on Spotify. Okay. And leave a review on Spotify. You can do that by going to the show, clicking the 3 dots in the corner next to the follow button, and then hit rate show. Leave whatever review you want, and we're going to be making a difference together. So thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to next week's episode when I tell you all about my time in Italy. And I just booked actually a ticket. I'm going to Barcelona tomorrow to watch the Euro finals. So that's going to be an amazing podcast episode that I can't wait for. I love you guys. Mwah.